Hi guys, welcome to TYP DevTalks. In this Learn While Doing series, we'll be learning how to create your first open source project. And the main objective behind the Learn While series is that while doing this, we want to learn a technology, and over here we are talking about Git. So let's get started, right? So this first video that you're seeing over here, in this video we'll be discussing what is Git, how to commit different changes, and how to navigate between the different versions, right? So let's talk about first what is Git, right? So basically Git is a SCM software. What is an SCM software? SCM stands for source control management software. So basically you helps you in controlling the source code, and you can collaborate between different developers using SCM. And it's like you can consider it as a web browser, and in a web browser, like, you can go back to previous versions or previous pages that you have visited. In the same way, an SCM software actually helps you in navigating back to the source to the previous source code. Now let's get an introduction to the Git. So Git is a type of a source control management software. It is one of the most used software in the world, and essentially it doesn't matter what programming language you work on, maybe it's C++, C Sharp, or Java, or whatever kind of project you're working on. You need a software which helps you in controlling the source code, and this is an essential tool that every developer must know, right? And you must know that GitHub, which is the one of the biggest website here right now for open source projects, the Git powers the GitHub website. So let's see the example why we need Git. So let's consider an example. There is a developer, Lisa. So Lisa is actually a mobile application developer. She is working on her application. So while working on her application, she saves the project every now and then. While saving the project, she ensures that she takes continuous backup. So whenever she has to take a backup, she just zips the source code and just saves it to her external drive, right? Now just give for an example that she's working on an application. So first she had a version 1, then there was a version 2, then there was a version 2.1, and then there was a version 2.2, right? While doing that, what she did is she took very big backup of all these versions to her hard drive, external hard drive by zip. But she didn't take the backup for 2.1 because she considered that it's not that significant of a change. But 2.2 was a very significant change. But what happened was, when this application actually got in the hands of the users, they realized that 2.2 is something that is causing a very big problem. In that case, everyone was really confused and what to do about it. So Lisa was actually trying to find out if there was a way that I could actually get back to version 2.1 without any problem, right? So how can she do that? That's a very big problem. Now, there is a very simple solution for that. What if in the place of that hard drive, that external hard drive, we have something that is a version controlling software, right? For example, Git. So Git is a software which actually will help you in tracking all the changes automatically without having to plug in and plug out the hard drive and remembering every time to take a backup. And you'll be able to see code history, and you'll be able to navigate between the code history. Like, if you want to go back to the version 2.1, what was my source code that used to look like in version 2.1, you can directly go ahead and see that. Now the question is, how does it happen? So this graphic will actually help you in understanding it better. So whenever you save the source code, you basically use just Control S or Command S in Mac to save the source code. But you can create multiple snapshots of your source code. For doing that, you need to just ask Git that, okay, this is the snapshot that you need to save, and I will need to refer it afterwards. Whenever you add a new feature, like this is adding a push notification, there is an application where you added a push notification, you ask Git to save this single snapshot of your source code. Then the next version you started working on, you are changing the background color of the application. So this is the second snapshot. Then there is a third snapshot where you added a login with Google, and then you fixed some bug, and then there was another snapshot. Now when there is something, there is a commit where which is very important to you. So you can do one more thing is, also while taking the snapshot, you can also assign a tag to it, right? It's like a hashtag that you do in your Instagram or any other social media, right? So it actually helps you in tracking it, right? So like that, you can have multiple commits. So it's up to you how you want that commit to be. Commit could be just a single line of change, or it could be multiple line of change, right? So that's how Git actually works. So this is how it is tracking all the system, right? So without wasting any much time, let's see how we do it. So first step that will be doing is we'll be installing the Git. So if you want to install Git software, you need to just go to gitscm.com and you will find the most feasible installation for you when you go to download, right? If you are on Linux or you are on Mac, then you can find out over there and just click on install button and then just follow the process and you will be up in there. If you want to go into more details of how to install it, then we did a previous video about it that you can see. You will be getting a notification at the top and you can check it out afterwards. So how to find out if Git is installed or not? You need to just go to your terminal and you need to write Git command. If you write Git command and you get an output like this, which is showing you all the different commands that you can start working on, that means your Git has been successfully set up. One thing that you need to remember is whenever you set up your Git, the first command that you need to put in is git config. Git config global user.name, your name. So basically this command actually helps Git to recognize that who is the one person who is working on it. This will be very much useful when there will be multiple people who will be working on a single application, right? So this is the first command that you need to do. And the second thing is, one more thing that is very important is setting up the email address that you're working on. And you can set up your email address. Once you're done with that, your Git is properly configured and you are ready to go. The next step that we'll be doing is we'll be creating our first source code. So basically in this series we'll be working on a scientific calculator, and in this scientific calculator we'll be adding features, then we'll be collaborating between different developers, and we'll be also uploading it on GitHub and see how the whole process works out, right? So let's initialize a new source code. So we are starting from scratch. So what we'll do is we'll create a new folder over here. Simple process, right? Scientific calculator. Here's my folder. I go inside this. Now I need to initiate my terminal here. So one way I can do is I can press shift and press right click. That's in Windows, and you have an option of open PowerShell window over here or whatever the command that you have here. I have Linux and both, so I get both the options. Else you can go to file from here, and then you will get an option here to open PowerShell. Or the third option that you can do is you can go directly to your terminal and navigate to your folder, right? So for now you will see that when if I press dir over here, if I write dir over here, you will see that it is not having anything. The first command that I need to put, so that I ask Git to actually start tracking the application, I write git init, that is init, that is short for initialization. Once I put git init, so by putting git init, I actually have asked Git to start tracking whatever changes I will do in this folder. So for now you will see that there is nothing inside this folder, but if you go to view and you want to see hidden files, you will see there is a hidden folder which has been initialized over here, that is .git. You don't have to go into details about it, but that's how you can actually realize that your source code is now being tracked using Git. The next thing I will do is I will open this in my favorite editor. So it could be anything that you like. It could be Atom, it could be Sublime, it could be Visual Studio Code, or any other IDE that you want to use. So let's create our first file. This is our first file. It will be index.html file. In this file we'll be adding just a welcome page. So let's do that. This is our first file. We have created our first file, right? And you'll see in the folder that you already have one file over here, right? So our Git repository is initialized. Now we'll see how we will commit the code. So for committing a code, it's a very simple task. You'll go to your terminal and you write down git status. So when you put git status, it is actually telling you that what are the different files you have worked on. So these are untracked files because you have not asked Git to track this file as of now. So it's saying that this is the file which has been changed. I cannot use git status somewhere else. Like if I go to a different folder and I write down git status, it's going to tell me that it is not a Git repository. So I need to first ensure that I have initialized my Git repository to actually check that if I am able to track all the files or not. Now I want to make a commit. Commit is again asking Git to create a snapshot of the source code which is there. So for adding a commit, the first thing you need to do is you need to add the files that you need to track. First, we initialize the folder and we ask Git to check all the changes that we are happening over there. The next thing we will do is we will add a single file to that commit, that okay, in this snapshot please include this file. So I'll go to git add index.html. Now if I put git status, you will see that my file is now in green. That means these are the changes. It will be the part of the snapshot. Now whenever I want to make a commit, it's a simple task. You need to just put git commit -m, and here is a text area where you can put what you actually did while doing this commit. So I'll write I added index.html file, and then I'll just press enter. There you go. This is how you created a first commit, and you see here that it's saying that okay, one file has been changed, there were 8 insertions into it, and it is showing more details about it. Now the next thing that we can do is like that we can make multiple commits. For example, let's go back. Let's see if I put git status now, you will see that it's saying that nothing to commit, because Git has realized that all the changes that you have made have already been part of the previous commit or previous snapshot. Now the next thing I will do is I'll add one more here. Inside that I'll try to add 4 commands, that is add, subtract, multiply, and divide. See how it looks in the browser? Now here's the browser, and you can see that this is how my basic application looks like. I added this add, subtract, multiply, divide and standard commands as part of my changes. Now if I go to my terminal and I put git status again, you will see that it's automatically telling me that okay, there has been a file which has been modified since the last commit. So again I can follow this step, git add index.html and then git commit m, then added basic commands. Now this message is there so that I can actually track while I'll be seeing the history afterwards. I'll be able to find out that what I did in a single commit. So next thing we'll do is we'll put on git log. So let's go back to my terminal and I can put git log. Git log is a command which helps you in seeing all the different changes that you did. So you can see here our first changes as is seen here. The first changes I did at 1432, added an index.html file, and the next change I did is added basic command. You see here that my name and my email address has been displayed over here. This is how it is tracking that who did the changes, and you see every single commit has been provided an ID. Right? You see there is an ID over here, there's an ID over here, like that. These ID is how Git internally recognizes every single commit. The next thing we can do is we can use git checkout. Now what git checkout does is it's like browsing through your web browser history. So let's go to the terminal back, and if I use git checkout and I select this ID, I copy it and paste it over here and I press enter, and now you will see that when you go back to your editor, you will see that all the changes that we did, the adding basic command, that is add, subtract, multiply, division, has been gone. Now if I even go back to my browser and refresh it, you will see that I'm already back to a previous version of my application. Now if I want to go back to the second version, the latest version, I can do is I can copy this thing and then go to git checkout and write it down. Now if I refresh my page, you see that everything is in back. Now there's one more way you can do it is if I'm back on any other previous commit, and let's see I'm here, and if I want to go to the latest commit, I need to just put git checkout master, and there you go. Now what does this master mean? We'll be seeing it in further videos that you will be able to find out. So this is how you can do this.
In the next video we will see how we can use two new commands, git revert and git reset, to undo changes and start working on previous versions.
So I hope you enjoyed this video, and please like, subscribe, comment, and please share with it other people, and we'll be seeing you back in another video. Thank you.